Andrew, Doug Williams. Doug Williams, you're on with Andrew.
Yep. Redskins legend Doug Williams doesn't need any introduction.
Yeah, I read Hog Haven all the time.
Excellent. So yeah, we're here to talk about the new fan ambassador network that you guys are starting, and you want fans to help with the rebranding. So I guess first question is, what does being a fan mean to you, and what are you going to be looking for in these applications?
Well, for me, I'm looking at it from a whole different perspective when it used to be. From the other side as a player, you figure somebody out there just cheering for you. But now on this side of the panel, and being on this side with Jason and his crew, I'm looking at it from a whole different perspective. It's more than just standing in the stadium cheering. It's being a part of what's going on with the branding of the team. Whether or not it's community, whether or not it's culinary, whether or not it's having fun with your kid on Sunday. It's all of that. That's involved. That's what the fan is supposed to be. It's supposed to be enjoying themselves more than just the game itself.
Right, absolutely. So have you read any of the applications so far? And if so, like what kind of things have stuck out to you?
Hadn't read a lot of the applications yet. We got over 1,000 and some applications, and we're breaking them down into the 7 core groups that we have. And it's amazing that some of them have more than the others, but at the end of the day, we're gonna come up with about 7 people in each category to try to get them to make sure that they can help us see what it's like being a fan and what they would like to see going forward from there.
Right. So the press release for the Fan Ambassador Network said that you're looking for a mix of older and younger fans to be ambassadors. What differences do you think the two age groups bring, and what insight will they have for the rebranding process?
Well, I think you want older and young. Number one, you bring in the old school with the new school per se. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important because I've been around here since 1980. And you got to bring those fans with you, with the new fans, mm-hmm. to make it one fan, and I think that's why it's important that no matter how old you are, how long you've been a fan, that you can get involved and be part of the fan ambassador to grow with the younger guys, so everybody can intertwine and mix and nobody get left behind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the website says you'll be also accepting fan ambassadors from outside of the DMV area. What do you think? So we seem to have a really good turnout at away games compared to a lot of other teams. Why do you think this fan base travels so well? And what unique contributions do you think those fans outside the DMV will bring to the network?
Well, I think it's important because when you look at this whole thing, we got fans all over the country.
Right.
And when you got fans like we have, you want them involved too, because they over there and they cheering and they want to see the team do well and branding and everything. So you got to open it up to fans, not only in the DMV, but you got to open it up across the country and let everybody get involved in it and be a part of the branding of this football team.
And since you mentioned you read Hogs Haven, we got lots of international fans too.
I'm telling you, even me as a player, I sit here and I get letters from people from over in Europe and everybody want me to autograph shoes, mm-hmm. Send an autograph to them and stuff like that. So we got fans all over the country, all over the world. So when you talk about the fan and branding this football team, you got to include everybody. And mm-hmm. I think that's the most important thing.
Yep, absolutely. So I guess sort of just an open-ended question. Is there any sort of parting message that you want to give to fans?
Yeah, I want them to understand and feel a part of this whole branding thing, whether or not we choose you or not. Well, you're still a part of it. Whatever your ideas are, what have you, we take those and we mix them all in and they come out and we use those. So don't feel bad if you're not chosen. Just feel like you're a part of it. You just happen to be one that was not chosen, but I'm still part of the branding of the football team.
And how should fans stay involved if they're not chosen and sort of let you guys know what they think, like which things they like?
Well, I think fans got to do what they've been doing. As a fan, people don't really ask you your opinion. Don't ask, you just fan. But now you become a fan, you ought to feel good about, if I'm not chosen, I still feel good about it because I was nominated. I was part of it.
Right.
And it's still my team. I'm a fan. So I'm going to give them what my opinion is, what I think it should be or what have you, and still give your thoughts on the football team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It was great talking to you. So that's all the questions I had, but since we're still waiting for Joey, let me just ask, like, looking back on it, what was it like winning the Super Bowl?
I tell you what, it's hard to even imagine walking off that field that day, because everybody wants to play in the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to be the guy that stands on top of the hill. And that day, winning the championship, being named MVP, walking off the field with Joe Jacoby made it feel that much more special because he was one of the guys that I went to war with. And we came out as a victory. So at the end of the day, I felt like I had reached the mountaintop and there's nowhere to go.
That was absolutely part of history. You've won 1/3 of the Lombardis that the team has. So,
well, it's amazing when you think about how many rings Tom Brady and Joe Montana and guys like that got 2, 4, and 7 rings. That's amazing. There's only a few people that have a ring.
Absolutely. There's so few that even can play in the NFL. So,
and there's no complaint. You're right. Playing in the NFL in itself was an honor.
Right.
And being part of this organization since the 80s is certainly a great feeling for me. And even now at this stage, being part of what we're doing and working for Jason as an advisory man and being on this side of it and seeing the diversity of this whole organization, not only on the football side with Ron and everybody, Martin, but on this side with Jason. And you look at, if you could take a picture of what we look like on Friday mornings in our morning sessions, you just have to sit back and smile about the diversity.
No, absolutely. We've come a long way, and we have a lot to be proud of in that respect. Yeah,
come a long ways in a short period of time. And I think when you think about how long it took for Jason to come in on this side of the ball and turn it around and get the diversity and get the ball rolling and getting, the fan ambassador thing was something we never even thought of. And just to think of that and bring the people in to work with him, I think in itself is truly amazing.
So was that Jason's idea first, the Fan Ambassador Network?
I don't know whether his idea first, but the people he hired.
Sure.
Think about the people that he hires, and they come in with ideas. So when you look at it, it's Jason's idea from that standpoint, but you got people come in with all kind of ideas, and with Joey, Joey come in with a great resume with being one of the guys that's going to be talking about the fan ambassador, talking about the dance girls and stuff like that. I think it's going to be an exciting year.
No, absolutely. I think fans are looking forward to it too.
Right.
Cool.
All right.
Well, it was great talking with you. And thanks for doing this, for reaching out to fans and doing these interviews. How many more interviews you got lined up with fans?
We got quite a few lined up. I just hope let's get as many nominations as we possibly can. And I think that's where we look at it. We'll cut it off when we cut it off, but we want as many nominations that want to help this football team brand itself. And I think that's the bottom line.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, Mark.
Hey.
There he is, Joey. Sorry, I realized when I created the meeting, it automatically made a Teams invite, but I put the Zoom in the location, so I caused confusion for everybody. I apologize about that.
Am I on the right meeting?
Yes,
you are in the right meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Andrew York, one of the writers at Hogs Haven. And joining us now is Joey Colby-Begovich, who is the team vice president of guest experience, newly hired. And before that, you were an executive in the hospitality group Inspirato,
Yes.
as well as Carnival Cruise Lines. I guess, can you tell us how your background in those areas, how you bring that experience to bear in your current role with the team?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today, Andrew. So I think My background in traditional hospitality is actually not only very transferable to sports entertainment, but also a value add to sports entertainment. In hospitality, the main purpose of an experiential operations role is to be true to the brand, right? From the service perspective, from all of the surprise and delight moments to removing points of friction in the back of the house that the customer might not even know existed, but just has this seamless journey. All of those are needed in a game day presentation from an experience standpoint, from arrival to ticketing, to food and beverage, to merchandise, to getting to your seat, to experiencing the game, to the entertainment that happens. It's all the same thing. And so I think my background in hospitality transfers very well to this environment.
Right, absolutely. So you've grouped the fan ambassadors. I've already sort of talked about a bit the fan network that you're starting. You've grouped the ambassadors into 7 categories: community, culinary, culture, entertainment, fashion, family experience, and Sunday Fun Day. How did you decide on those categories?
Yeah, we decided on those categories as the 7 areas where we could elevate the experience in how people interact with the team from a fan perspective on game day. All of the other things that we already know, like parking and arrival and wayfinding around the stadium, we already know those and have hired consultants and things to help us in those areas. These 7 things we really feel like are the areas that fans interact with the most and get the most value out of the game day experience. So that's how we landed on these 7 categories.
Right. Okay. And if someone's nominated for one of the categories, will they also be considered for the other categories if you think they're a better fit there?
Absolutely. So
They don't have to apply 7 times.
We have actually, Andrew, we have identified, we've already had over, thousands of submissions, right? And several people have been nominated for several different categories, but we're going to take a look at the submissions holistically because we really want small focus groups for all of these 7 areas. So if somebody's on the cusp and it says, and they might fit better in another category, we'll definitely reach out and make that connection.
Right, right. And if someone, or what criteria will be using to choose the fan ambassadors, and who's going to do the choosing?
That's a great question. So Doug Williams, Super Bowl MVP, and my new best friend, I can't get enough of Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I are going to be leading this selection committee that will be made up some other stakeholders in our organization who are directly related to some of these 7 categories that we've identified here. We're going to be reviewing the submissions in all of those categories. We're going to be narrowing it down to a set of finalists, possibly doing some interviews with those finalists before landing on the group that will service each of these categories. So it will be quite a process, but we want diversity within these groups. I used this example before, and I think it's a really good example, Andrew. Take the culinary category for existence. We want the person on the street who brings the best, casserole to the potluck that everybody raves about.
Mm-hmm.
In that same group, we want the ultimate tailgater from FedEx Field. In that same group, we want somebody who maybe is an executive chef at a restaurant in the DMV area. We want to create that diversity in the group so it represents as many as the fans as possible.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, that makes sense.
But I did want to say this, Andrew.
Yeah.
Can I add to that one thing? Yeah. Everybody who's nominated and everybody who becomes a finalist will have an opportunity to participate in some way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And what will the specific duties of the fan ambassadors be once they're selected? And who in the team will they regularly interact with?
So they will regularly interact with me, with Doug, and then these different stakeholders that we'll bring in that are a part of these 7 categories. The way that we see it right now is that maybe once a quarter we'll have, right now, because of the pandemic, a virtual meeting where we will get to present our ideas and gather reaction, have discussion around them, and then hear this network's ideas as well. In addition to that, there's going to be several events here at FedEx Field, possibly in the DMV area, that will be optional events that these groups will get invitations to participate as a part of our fan engagement.
So kind of like a focus group plus VIP experience.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Great
okay. And the press release says you're going to choose 5 or more fans in each category. Will they primarily be working like with each other in a group or on their own, or?
I think it's best that we do things as much in a group as possible so that the diversity that's represented and the different opinions within the group are heard by others, right? I think sometimes we think that all fans are like us, right? And that's not the case. Fans come from different walks of life. Some fans are here in the DMV, some aren't, right? Some are older, some are younger, and they all have different ideas. And I think in order to create a more holistic, connected fan base to the Washington football team, a group setting would be most beneficial for us.
But would it still be like the culinary people sort of are just meeting with other culinary people?
Yes. Okay. But some of those events that I talked to you about
would be everyone.
Would be everybody, yeah.
Right. Okay. And which categories right now are getting the most applicants, and are there any categories where you need more applicants?
Yes, so I'm glad that you asked this so that people out there in the fan base hear this. So we have a ton right now for community and Sunday Fun Day. They are leading the charge. All the other categories are doing well, but we could use some more submissions for culinary and for culture.
Okay.
We got a lot. Like I said, we have thousands, but those are the ones that are a little bit lagging behind that we'd like to get as many people as possible to be nominated or self-nominate so that we can pick a lot of really great people to be a part of that.
Right. And when is the due date for nominations?
Till the end of the month. They will be open till the end of the month.
All right. And then just an open question. Are there any parting messages that you want to give to fans?
I would like to say personally, on behalf of me, as somebody who I would consider a new fan, Andrew, since joining the organization, just a sense of gratitude to everybody out there. I have felt so welcome coming to the DMV, joining the Washington football team, and I look forward to meeting as many people as possible as we welcome fans back to the stadium this fall.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. That's great. Thank you so much for your time. This was a good interview.
Thank you, Andrew.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Joey. Appreciate the time, Andrew.
Thanks.